The following is intended for mature audiences only. Discretion is advised.
What's up, besties? This is episode 33 Men and a Baby Jesus of Childlike at Best with Mike Valdes. I am still the second part of that title. Guys, I am so excited to tell you that on Sunday, February 2nd, I'm going to be doing a live stand-up taping for a show on Fox called LMAO. It's going to be at the Miami Improv, and you should definitely come out. It's going to be really awesome. So make sure you check out miamiimprov.com for tickets, information, or you can just follow me on Instagram at Mike Valdes, and I'll make sure to give you all the information you need. This episode is Mario Ramil. Mario is a very funny stand-up comedian and actor. You may know his characters from social media. He has very popular characters such as the Cuban Doctor, the Weatherman, as well as his very funny voiceover work. This episode was such a blast, man. Mario is so fun to talk to, and he's just a really down-to-earth guy. I'm really grateful that he took the time to do this podcast. There is a small disclaimer, though, that I will say. There is a bit of a sound issue because we were recording this outside, so you're going to hear a lot of planes going by and different kind of nature sounds and all different kinds of things like that. I tried taking as much out as I possibly could, but unfortunately some things were just not possible to take out without cutting into the conversation and into the flow of the conversation. But we definitely do reference it and we make fun of it, so I just wanted to let you know if it sounds like God farting, it's the planes that are going by. Regardless of that minor hiccup, I really think that you guys are going to enjoy and love this episode. So without further ado, please enjoy the very funny Mario Ramil. What's up, everybody? This is Childlike at Best with Mike Valdes. Hey guys, guess what? I'm Mike Valdes, and today I have a really awesome guest with me, Mario Ramil.
What's up?
What's up, dude?
What's up, man? How's it going?
It's going really well. I'm actually really excited to have you. So, I'm
excited to be here, Mike.
Good. I'm glad.
At Childlike at Best.
Yeah. Well, since we already started, the first thing we like to do here at Childlike at Best is we like to take a Flintstones vitamin because it's what we like to do when we're kids. So go ahead. Those are the Flintstones complete gummies.
Okay, no, this isn't gonna make me hallucinate or anything.
I don't. No. This isn't the Joe Rogan experience.
Sign no fucking waiver or anything. No, Artie. What's the guy?
Yeah, Artie Lang. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. And I'll take one as well.
So you were doing this before you had me? Before you had me out as a guest?
Yeah.
No
absolutely.
Correlation to my bit about the doctor taking Flintstone pills and all that?
No, but
wow, that's awesome.
How great is that,
that's
right?
Fantastic.
Isn't that great?
That's great.
That's why you were a perfect guest for this show.
Thank you, bro. I'm glad to be here.
So, as you're taking that, can you please tell the listeners where you grew up?
Born and raised in Hialeah, Florida. Hialeah through and through. West Hialeah, to be exact. Exact. And, yeah, man. I'm a Miami boy.
Yeah. What kind of neighborhood?
It was the 90s.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. There was a lot of kids that wanted to be in gangs.
Sure. I grew up in Hialeah in the same time, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
There's that everybody thought they were Tupac and fucking Biggie,
exactly.
and then but it wasn't a bad neighborhood. It got worse around when I was in 5th grade.
Yeah.
And then it started clearing up. People started moving out, rent got a little higher, and it wasn't that bad after. But it was a decent Hispanic dominant kind of neighborhood. Apartment, 1-bedroom apartment.
Just out of curiosity, did you live in a religious household?
Yeah. I mean, we did church on Sundays.
Yeah, because, my thought, because I lived with a Cuban mother.
Yeah.
Cuban mothers are very God-fearing people.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's why I was asking.
Yeah. We definitely had a, by the way,
that is
a Blue
plane.
Angel going over there. Blue Angel.
Actually, we're getting abducted right now.
Yeah, dude, I definitely had a huge Jesus painting hung in the living room.
Everybody had the creepy painting of Jesus.
And the eyes follow you through the living room.
Dude.
Yeah, I definitely had one of those. Yeah, she was religious. She was religious, and she wanted us to be religious, but
Yeah.
we weren't. It was me and my brother. We didn't follow Christ as what she did.
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it's really tough to follow after
Top
your
notch
parents.
Flintstone pills, by the way. Top notch, dude.
I'll let them know.
Very good.
They probably won't listen, but I'll let them know.
Oh, you'll have them on as a sponsor. I trust.
I hope so.
I believe in you.
But yeah. So, what kind of kid would you say that you were in school? Who did you hang out with at the
In
lunch table?
school.
That kind of thing.
I was a very curious kid. I quickly realized that I wasn't going to excel academically I was I was not great at fractions and all my calculations were off. I wasn't the best fucking reader.
Yeah.
I wasn't the first one raising my fucking hand to read out loud, but around
I would get scared when you had to read out loud.
fuck
dude.
yeah, dude.
I would get so scared.
I would read if it was
You
like
had to read ahead?
I read the whole thing. I knew it by memory when they got to
Yeah.
me. I wasn't even looking at the book by the time it fucking got to me. But like first grade, second grade, Miss Schaffel was our art teacher,
Yeah.
and she came in, and for some fucking reason they thought it was proper to teach like Vincent Van Gogh and all this shit, like cutting off your fucking ear, and
To
it was an art, it was an art class. So she would show us like documentaries and about the artist,
Yeah.
and have us like paint kind of like them. And that was the first time that that I was thinking about this the other day, that I realized like, oh shit, like that's a very unconventional. Like up to that point, everything was very calculated,
Yes.
very But that was the first time I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, how, did he make? And he didn't necessarily have a fucking vibrant career as a painter, but he did well. And years later, we're learning about him.
I would say he was a lot like some of the greater rappers of our generation, where like he had fans while he was alive,
Right.
but his fandom got huge when he died.
Yeah, very Nipsey Hussle-ish.
Exactly. Or Tupac Shakur, some people would even say.
Tupac was I more like Biggie, I think, because
Yeah.
Tupac was doing movies, he was breaking into.
Yeah, you're right.
But
yeah.
But yeah, that was the first time it kind of like dawned on me, like, we're learning about this guy and he was a painter, so maybe he made a career out of it.
Yeah.
I kind of like that, and so from that moment on, that's kind of how I leaned. I didn't do great in I didn't try out for sports or any of that shit. I don't want to say I was a class clown,
Sure.
but I was definitely, I think, very hyper aware of what could get me by, and what could get me by is to make people feel good, like teachers, make them laugh,
Yeah.
make security guards, but get them on your side.
Right.
So I was kind of the diplomatic, clown politician. And
It's funny because like I feel like that's more, and I've said it here before, that's that I wasn't really a class clown, I was a class comedian.
yeah,
So like I made the teachers laugh, and like
Yeah.
the kids never thought that I was really that funny.
yeah,
But my class clown was a guy that would just like show his balls to people.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like that's not funny.
Yeah,
You
and,
know what I
and
mean?
throughout the years, I've heard more comedians say that like,
Yeah.
I think it's finally gotten to a point, because that was always the conventional, like, I was
Yeah.
the class clown. But if you really dissect the class clown, like, that guy's
Yeah.
a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
That guy's he's a teller right now. Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with being a teller.
Yeah.
But that guy's a teller. Like, I think people that went off to be comedians were just that. The people that could find something relatable with not only their peers, but also with the teacher.
Yeah.
And then that, of course, translates to the stage, where you have all sorts of ages there, where you could still maintain that, sensibility
Well,
up there.
comedians are observers.
Right.
Even if you're an animated person who does impressions, like you need to observe the people you're doing the impression
Right,
of.
right,
like
right,
that
right.
kind of thing. That's how I always felt about it. When you went home, though, what would you say your fandoms were? So what were the first things that started inspiring you?
I was inspired early on through my mother. She, in our household, and I've said this before, it was never really about like the biggest stars, like the people we looked up to were like Charlie Chaplin. Like my mom was a big Lucille Ball fan. She had vinyls of like Tom Jones, and like so the arts really were applauded.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, being raised by a single mother, trying to get that approval from her, you know, now that I look back at it, you know, I didn't give a fuck if I got a C. Can we curse? By the way, I'm sorry.
Say whatever you want.
I didn't really care if I got a C or whatever, because I knew that if I came home and drew like a badass picture, that was going to be rewarded a lot higher than... And not to say that she didn't care about my grades. It's just the reaction I got when I painted something awesome, or I can make her laugh, or I played the piano, or something that, you know, that I would see would make her feel good through other people. You know what I'm saying? That the Charlie Chaplins of the world and stuff like that. I guess I emulated that a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I definitely can understand, man. I grew up with a single mother until I was 8. So majority of my...
Dad came back in the picture?
No, stepfather.
Stepfather.
So, yeah. My actual biological father, I only met him like twice, I think. But
Such a recurring fucking topic in
right.
between comedians. It's like, Dad, are you out there listening?
Yeah.
I'm broken, you bitch. Now I'm funny. What a fucking price to pay, right? God damn.
It's very like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you know?
Absolutely, dude.
But yeah, so I completely get what you mean. Nothing would make me happier than like, I still remember this moment. I don't think I've ever shared this.
Oh boy. Exclusive.
I still remember this moment where my mom was so freaking pissed at me. You're the perfect person to tell this story to. And you know how like when Cubans get really mad, they're like, oye, te voy a dar una galleta. Like, you know, like that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Well, you know, to our English-speaking audience, galleta also means cracker.
Yes.
So I was like, good, because I'm hungry.
Oh my God.
And dude, she fell out laughing so hard.
Oh, you got her to laugh?
Yes.
That's basically...
She was like cackling laughing.
Wow.
Like,
how old were you?
I was like 4 or 5.
That's like getting out of a fucking ticket, bro.
I know.
Wow.
It was crazy, dude.
That's good. That's solid.
Yeah. So, like, I still remember that moment. That's probably the moment where I was like, I think I want to do this.
Yeah.
I hope you can make money doing this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I kind of have a similar thing, but I was like 3, and this was when my father was still there.
Yeah.
And it's not something I said, but I thought it would be hilarious. He used to sleep shirtless, and I thought it would be funny if I go to the fridge. I was a fucking baby.
Yeah.
But I went to the fridge and I put my hands on the gallon of water for like fucking 10 seconds. And then I creeped into his room and I put my hands on his back. And he fucking hit the roof. And I hauled ass to the living room where my mom was. And she just realized what I didn't, because she saw me putting my hands on the gallon. And he came out, this little fucker. And he threw his sandal at me. And my mom's like cracking up. And I guess she realized, like, oh, this guy's,
really
he's
funny.
on my team.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, man.
So what about movies, television, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, TV was important in our house.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was.
I mean, obviously, I Love Lucy. And
I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
We did I Love Lucy. We did a lot. Remember, that it was the 90s. So we did a lot of the Family Matters.
Of course.
The Full House, the Boy Meets Worlds.
Yeah.
But she would always love to show me any fucking Beethoven documentary that was on.
Yeah.
Any Chopin or whatever.
I love it.
Anything that was on fucking PBS.
Yes. I remember that too.
She would call me over and to watch it with her, and I guess that had an effect on me. You know, I now could sit on Amazon or Netflix or whatever and just watch, you know, endless documentaries on or biographies on people, and I don't know, I guess I was raised to kind of admire the work, you know. But definitely, yeah, especially movies. My mom, for some fucking reason, and now I look back and I'm like, holy shit, like she literally designed me to be like this.
Right.
She'll talk about artists that were around, like Rodolfo Valentino from the fucking 20s, the silent era. You know, Elizabeth Taylor and all these actors from the fucking like early cinema days, and I'm like, how would she even fucking like? I don't know. She just had that interest in it.
That kind of is really interesting, especially because she knew about that stuff before all of that information was just on your phone.
We had a fucking 1992. Her knowledge is up to a 92 encyclopedia, and we don't have R. So all her shit is she knows all. Knowledge on everything but R. Things that start with R. She doesn't know what a rotary phone is. She doesn't know what a revolver is. But artists, celebrities, stuff like that. That was pre-internet.
Yeah.
And she knew about she knew about Albert Einstein and Tesla and all these people before the internet. Like she was telling me about these fucking people.
That's insane.
Before that. Yeah, I don't know. She was always fascinated by stuff like that.
That's really, really cool. Now, just out of curiosity, because I lived in a very conservative Christian home, I talked about it. We've only met a couple of times,
right.
But I talk about it on stage and things like that. So because of that, I was a movie lover and a TV lover, and I had to kind of like sneak movies around.
Okay.
Did you ever have to sneak things around your family?
Did I ever have to fucking porn magazines?
Well, but besides that, I mean, like, if you wanted
Which,
to
by
watch...
the way, I used to sneak porn magazines I would find, like, in the Serranos in the corner of my house. They're like stripper magazines or whatever, advertising the local strippers. And I would hide them under my brother's room.
Really?
Under my brother's bed.
That's such a Kevin McAllister way of doing it.
I would Kevin McAllister. And it wasn't until the other day where my mom got my uncle to help her like move shit, and she moved our fucking our twin Grant Hill beds, and she found these sticky, nasty ass magazines under my brother's bed, and she's like, "A glass of fucking cochino, a glass of cochino, chiquito." And it was me. My brother's like, "What the fuck are those magazines?" It was me the whole time.
That's hilarious, dude. Yeah, I got lucky if I had like a Sears catalog. Like I wasn't
masturbate to advertising lotions and shit. Yeah, pre-internet. Like, how did anyone masturbate?
I know. I don't think it was possible. I don't think it was a thing.
Jerk off to Victoria's Secret magazines. And, yeah, I was the kid staying up till fucking 1 a.m. watching infomercials. Like, oh, look at those blouses. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Those Girls Gone Wild infomercials.
Oh my god. Dude,
where like you wouldn't even see the boobs, you would just see Girls Gone Wild logos.
Dude, I was at my friend's house, and he had this crazy invention called cable.
I've never heard of it.
And like up in the like 200 channels, you see like this, you see porn.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there thinking like, oh my god, like feeling like, like I feel weird right now, but I like it. So I went back home and I tried to look for those channels. Absolutely did not have those channels. But what we had were like the fucking static, and every now and then it would get stuck on like a tit.
Yeah.
And he fucking wail away for 2 seconds until it, and then it lands on a dude's face, and you're like, fuck.
Oh, man.
You jizz while the guy's like,
Oh, my gosh. So.
The struggles of growing up with a single.
Yeah. Speaking of jizz, what were your favorite snacks growing up?
Great. Perfect segue. Favorite snacks. You remember those chocolate? I don't remember the fucking name.
Dunkaroos?
Were they Dunkaroos?
Yeah.
The chocolate koalas?
Bro, the chocolate koalas were the bomb, though.
Was that Dunkaroos?
No.
What is that?
I think those were just koalas.
Something they sold in Navarro that I fucking loved.
You know what's funny? I think it's a Japanese thing.
The koalas?
Yeah, the koalas, because I find them at like Japanese stores now. Like international food
They still
stores.
have them?
They still make them, yeah.
Dude, I haven't had one of those since I was a little kid, dude.
Yeah, I haven't had those or Dunkaroos since I was a little kid.
Those were really great. I used to love always ice cream. Ice cream was my shit.
Any particular thing you would get at the ice cream truck?
You know what I used to get? Not at the ice cream truck, but at school. Again, I've never seen it again, but in Meadow Lane, shout out to Meadow Lane Elementary. Chocolate and vanilla like popsicle.
Really?
It was the weirdest fucking shit, but it was phenomenal.
Huh.
I used to skip kids for that shit.
That's crazy.
It was so fucking good, dude.
The thing that I would always skip kids in line for at school, we had I don't know how my school got them. I don't know what drug dealer they talked to, but they had the Mickey bars from Disney World.
The chocolate.
Like the
and
chocolate
vanilla
Mickey.
inside, really?
Yeah. And I was like,
what lunch lady was smuggling them shits?
I'm telling you, yeah.
who lost their job over making fucking ice cream?
Yeah. Freaking Gladys, like selling them for $5.50 a popsicle.
Hustler, dude. What a hustler, man.
It was awesome. Yeah, that's great. Another thing we talk about on this podcast a lot is cereal. Were you a cereal person growing up?
Didn't give much of a fuck about cereal.
Really?
My mom's fucking Cuban, dude. We had
Sure.
like picadillo for breakfast, dude. Cereal's a very Anglo.
Picadillos.
We had picadillo with rice and beans for breakfast.
That would be a Cuban cereal. Picadillos.
Picadillos. You might want to write that one down, dude.
Yeah.
That's solid. No, I liked fucking Cheerios. I don't know. We really had picadillo. I don't know what
That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it
Honey
so much.
bunches of oats. I don't know.
Well, every episode of this show, I like to review a box of cereal with my guest.
Okay.
And I actually brought a cereal for you.
Okay.
And I usually like to get a cereal that has something to do with my guest in some way, shape, or form.
Oh, shit.
So I spoke with my sponsors at FYE.
Okay.
Now, by sponsor, I mean that I like them and I buy all their products.
I
And,
spoke to my sponsors.
Yeah.
Shout out to my mom.
yeah, and by spoke to, I mean that I tweeted them repeatedly and they didn't get back to me.
And then they blocked you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
the cereal that I got for you is a Saturday Night Live exclusive called Super Blow cereal.
You know what's fucking crazy about this?
What?
You said you brought this for me, right?
I did.
Okay, can I see that? Okay, so you brought a cereal that says Blow.
Yeah.
My
Super Blow.
second last name is Colon.
It's colon? Really?
Yes. This is fucking awesome.
Well, it's colon.
It's Colon.
Yeah.
But during ring ceremony, high school, Colin to the stage, and I have to walk in front of all a million fucking kids saying his name's Colin. It's Colon, but
Yeah. Doing
colon.
If you look at the back of this box here,
What?
it's a colon maze.
Is this for people with like digestive?
Yeah, it's a Saturday Night Live skit. I don't know if you've seen it.
No, I haven't. And
So essentially, what it is it's making fun of like Raisin Bran and all those
Yeah.
things, where like the whole thing is like Super Blow for when you want to blow it out your ass, like that. Like it's,
where do you get this though?
oh, I got that at FYE. Yeah, it's
This
a
is from the
store.
Oh,
Yeah.
dope.
And they
dope.
have like exclusive things.
That's fucking cool.
So yeah, we're gonna review this cereal, and I thought that it would be great
Colin
because you have a doctor
I
character
do have a doctor character.
that
yes.
is incredible,
Thank you very much.
and I would like to see where this goes.
Oh,
so
shit.
I'm gonna open this box, pour it into my Reptar cereal bowl, and I'm
Okay.
gonna try to mic it so all the ASMR weirdos can loop it and make it their ringtone.
Yes. Here we go. Pause for the Blue Angel flying over.
Got an extra one in for the ASMR weirdos there.
There's an airplane flying over now.
Yeah.
I don't get that whole ASM. What is it? ASMR?
ASMR. Yeah.
I don't get
I don't
that.
get it at
I mean, I
all.
masturbate to it by default, but I don't get it though.
I don't get it at all.
So is this gonna give me the shits, dude?
We're gonna find
Is
out.
my colon gonna blow?
We're gonna find out.
This shit looks fucking nasty, dude.
So you
Bring
don't have,
milk or what? We just
you
eat it
don't,
like this?
No, we just eat it like that. You
Just
don't
like-
have to eat
Like
much.
you're accepting the body of Christ?
Yeah, you don't have to eat much.
Okay, so are we doing this together? Or? In
Well-
your Reptar cereal bowl.
Yeah, in my Reptar cereal
I
bowl.
love it.
Give me just a second here. I was actually gonna get some great
BTS?
BTS.
Behind the scenes?
Oh, I thought you were talking about a boy band. I was like, what is
Oh.
BTS?
That's how fucking big they are. They've taken
Yeah.
that over now.
Yeah, it's not behind the scenes anymore.
It's not behind the scenes. It's 25 Asians.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How many people are in that band, by the way?
I don't know. Dude, it's crazy because you know how like every band has a logo.
Yes.
Like you're like, oh, that logo means Lynyrd Skynyrd, or that logo means Nirvana.
Yeah.
Each kid in the band has their own logo.
It's just a fucking Chinese flag.
It's just a bunch of logos.
It's just a flag.
And you're like, my God, how many freaking people are in this band?
They've taken over, dude.
It's crazy. So I would like for you to review this as your Cuban doctor. I'm going to go ahead and go on YouTube here, get some hospital ambiance music.
Okay. Oh. Uh, oh. Uh, 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 uh,
So that way you can fit right in. And whenever you're ready.
Okay, so over here we have para la gente que tienen cagadera. This helps them relieve a little bit of the tension. So this is called colon blow. This is good for golazo. Here we go. Okay, stale as fuck. I'll tell you right now, baby. Stale as fuck, but it's good because it's good for the digestive system right there. Sale por la naga. A ver.
Sale por la naga.
A ver. Okay. Okay. Okay, sticks to the teeth. It's good. It's good. Sold where? Serranos, you said?
Yeah.
Very good. This is a very good cereal for la gente que tan pobre, you know, they can't afford real cereal. You get colon blow, te limpia los intestines. It's good for your for the bladder. And this is 100%. This is good for you. There you go.
I love it.
There you go, buddy.
I love it, dude.
There you go, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Colon blow.
That was amazing.
Colon blow.
Colon
for
blow.
your colon.
Yeah. I love it, dude. Man, there's so many airplanes. It's kind of insane.
Not that bad. You didn't fucking try one.
I didn't. I you know what?
Was that a fresh box just to do this?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
I have no other reason to buy this.
Or to fucking eat it. yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Not bad. Not the word. A little stale.
It's not bad, but it's also not good.
No.
You know what I mean?
It's like out of the factory, no sugar, no. It's just a fucking flake.
Yeah.
That's it.
But I think I will say this though, for the joke of what the cereal is trying to be, the joke is successful even in taste.
Oh yeah, no, it's good. It's cereal.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's good.
It tastes 100% like it's going to clean you out.
Like 100%. It'll rasp out whatever you have in there.
Exactly.
Because I didn't digest that. That went down whole. That went
so
down whole,
good.
dude.
Oh,
Well,
man.
thank you for bringing this, man.
Yeah, of course,
This was
dude.
dope, and for opening a fresh box for us.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I wanna kind of.
I should have read the fucking warning sign. It says may cause abdominal distension. Consult a
guess.
physician. Is that why? Okay, is that why I was on?
No. I'm pretty sure it's for a joke. Like I don't think it's.
know, of course.
I highly doubt they would actually sell something.
That's hilarious, though.
It's like a laxative. This episode of Childlike at Best with Mike Valdes is brought to you by Ugly Drinks. Ugly is a company that makes sparkling water with real fruit flavor. No sugar, no sweetener, nothing artificial. And with every purchase, a percentage goes to the Girl Up campaign. Ugly Drinks comes in delicious flavors like peach, lemon lime, cherry, and my personal favorite, watermelon. And guess what, Childlike at Best listeners? You can receive 10% off your first order by using the code UGLYMIKE at checkout. It's true. Usually calling me ugly would be offensive in real life, but at uglydrinks.com, it'll save you money. Visit uglydrinks.com and use the code UGLYMIKE to get 10% off your order. It's time to get real. It's time to get ugly. So, I want to kind of move on to what you're doing now.
Okay.
So, before you started doing sketches and things like that, we were talking beforehand, you started doing stand-up, right?
Yeah.
And so, what inspired you to start doing stand-up?
Going back to what we were originally talking about, I was always intrigued by that world, right? Comedy, entertainment. And my mom was a Desi Arnaz fan. She was a Richard Pryor fan, Red Fox, you know? And so it wasn't until I started seeing like one summer, maybe like 5th or 6th grade, I started watching Que Locos or something like that. It was like just a Hispanic stand-up thing.
That's where Gabriel Iglesias started.
Gabriel Iglesias, George Lopez, Rodriguez, and that I thought was really fucking cool.
Yeah.
I thought, oh shit, like these people are, that's what they do. But I thought maybe they went back home and the next day they had like a fucking full-time job. Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't until I was like in 9th grade where an ex-girlfriend of mine was like, oh, there's this comic that kind of reminds me of you, and I think we had talked about this, and you got to watch it. You got to come over and watch it. And I was like, up to that point, I would see like the Gabriel Iglesias and stuff like that, and I never really related to any of them. But when I went to her house and she played this, she popped in this DVD, this comedy blend, was it?
Yeah.
Of this skinny dude in a fucking tank top, sweaty, spiky hair, and it was Dane Cook.
Yeah.
And at that moment, it kind of clicked. I'm like, yeah, I kind of act like, I was kind of physical like that. I was kind of everywhere like that. And so I was like, damn, is this dude making money off this shit? Like, is it what is this? And she's like, oh, he's a stand-up. He got a half hour on Comedy Central, I think it was. And from that moment on, it kind of stuck with me.
Yeah.
But I just never thought I would have the balls to do it. Because going from saying you're gonna do it to getting on stage and fucking eating a dick, it's a very, it's a very crazy process.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until fast forward years later where I found out I was gonna be a dad, and I was gonna have a daughter, and my life kind of flipped upside down, and so I got a full-time job, and I moved in with my girl and her parents, and my life completely flipped on me. Like, whatever, how you kind of live your life out, especially comics, like you're in a movie sometimes, and you kind of plan your life like, this is the way the movie's going to go.
Bro, it's a Chris D'Elia joke. It's 100%. He's like, you think your life is a movie, and you think you're Denzel Washington.
Oh,
and
100%.
you're not.
100%. No, you're not. You're the fucking extra in the back
Exactly.
that they slap around los sopapean. Like,
Exactly.
come on, hey, Dick, we need you for 10 hours, asshole.
Exactly.
And you're like, but I'm Denzel. Why am I? But you're not, right?
Yeah.
And so I quickly realized I was the extra.
Yeah.
And I wanted to take the ownership of the lead role again. And by one of the ways I thought was to finally do the things that I've wanted to do my whole life. Because the alternative is, not alternative, but the reality is that you are now going to be responsible for another life. So how are you going to fulfill that life if you haven't even fulfilled yours, And that was the absolute truth. So I said, okay, what's like the scariest shit? I could sign up for the army. I could fucking, or I could do this stand-up shit that I've always wanted to try, because fuck it. Well, I mean, what? So maybe I suck at it. I'm going to be a father.
Yeah.
Like that, and I was 23, 22 at the time, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm already fucking having a kid. No, but I'm like, no, yeah, right? But no, I said, and I also wanted to use that as kind of an excuse for later in life to bring up to my kid that, whatever it is you want to do, whatever you had against you, you could do it no matter what time it is, who you are, what you're going through. Like, fucking try, because I did, And so a week before she was born, I signed up to the Miami Improv, and we did 5 minutes, right? That was when the old Coconut Grove one was around. And I did 5 minutes, and I thought I was going to eat a dick. And these were 5 minutes, by the way, of jokes you've always had in your head. Yeah. Like shit jokes and
I saw this video.
My video?
Yeah.
Really?
I saw this video.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's okay.
It was like...
Bro, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
As somebody who, when they first started, I did a 10-minute set, and everyone was telling me how well I did, and I thought I did really well. I filmed the whole thing. I watch it now, 5 years later, and I'm mortified. Yeah. I absolutely hate it.
Well, that's the same way. Like, I could take myself out of the equation and look at it and be like, okay, that guy didn't bomb.
Yeah.
But going through the motions, like being me, who I am now, and not that I kill it now, but I could tell how prepared I was there and how, like, naive and amateur I was about it and whatever. I mean, it was the first fucking time, right? But I thought I was going to bomb. I thought I was going to, up to then, everyone that shared a starting stand-up story was about fucking eating a dick.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of my expectation, So when I went out there and I didn't necessarily do that, I felt like, fuck, maybe this is the one thing maybe this is that thing I've been kind of needing to do, Maybe this is the thing that life wanted me to have, but just didn't know how to give it to me.
Yeah. And
so it was kind of like history from there on, Like it was kind of it opened so many things for me after that,
So this is my question, because I'm assuming it's similar to what happened to you, but I didn't bomb my first couple of times. It was when I got cocky about it, and then I bombed.
Yeah.
Was that what happened to you, kind of, as well?
It's not that I got cocky, because I honestly, I think that's the one thing I don't possess.
Yeah,
I'm just so self-deprecating, every time I go up, I think I'm gonna bomb. So there's no room for me to be like, watch this.
Right.
Like I'm always 100% like this is gonna suck.
Yeah.
In fact, that's how I met you. I think.
Yeah.
I was literally backstage telling you, dude, I'm not ready.
Yeah. You 100% were like that.
Yeah. I've always been like that, and so it wasn't that I was cocky.
Actually didn't do. You actually, I feel like the only reason why you did stand up at all during that show where we met was because I almost made you do it. Well, I was like, "Come on, dude. The worst thing you can do." Is not to stand up.
I guess that's my zone, if you will. It's not that I got cocky. It's that I was getting laughs up to a point where I didn't realize I signed up for this competition. And it's not that I didn't realize I signed up for the competition. I didn't realize that in the competition there's no audience.
Yeah.
There's fucking judges. So I wasn't a professional comedian where I could meticulously go through the motions and not feel that feedback, just go off of just the jokes. Like be like, oh no, I know that killed. Like I know that was a solid joke. Like whether I hear laughs or not, my meter was laughs. That's the only way I would progress. And I didn't learn that without an audience. So it was at the Magic City Casino, and it was this Ultimate Miami bullshit or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I went up there. There was like fucking 55 comics. It was BTS was basically there. It was a bunch of fucking comics, and so you just go up and do 3 minutes. And up to that point, like I said, I was doing okay. I had done stand-up. In fact, the show before that one was at the Fort Lauderdale Improv, and there was a turkey competition, and I won.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, and that was like my second or third time doing stand-up. So I'm like, up to that point, I had gotten the audience to react. And so whatever. So I go up there, and dude, I start doing, there's nothing worse than being a physical comic and bombing.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I know.
At least if you bomb standing still, you die a slower death, I think, a quicker death. But with fucking, if you're doing cartwheels and doing backflips and fucking no one's laughing, you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
You're a piece of shit up there.
Yep.
And that was me. So I quickly went from a comedian to a magician, and I fucking disappeared in 2 minutes. I didn't even finish my last minute. I put the mic down, and I vanished because no one, maybe I got one chuckle off of one. I think my beginning joke was, yo, we all know what you did to Tupac, Suge, because there's a fucking, the security guard was this huge black guy.
Yeah.
And he looked like Suge Knight a little. And I said, we all know what you did to Tupac, Suge. And that got even the comics to laugh. And then it was downhill. That's all I got. Then I went into material, which fucking bombed. And I drove home thinking, dude, this is not for you.
Yeah.
That's not for you.
Well, the thing about comics is, like, unless the comic has never seen you, they're probably not going to think you're funny. Like, that's just what it is.
Say that again? Unless they have not seen you.
Unless they haven't seen you. Because, like, for example, the first time I see a comic, I'll think they're funny. But then once I've seen them do the same joke 15 times, it's like, all right,
well, no,
dude.
that's the thing. That was like my fourth time doing stand-up. So the majority of those people didn't see me.
That's crazy.
And the judges didn't know who the fuck I was. So it was just me in my head, too, being, fucking very, like, just shitting on myself, being like, you're not going to win, you're not. But the moral of the good thing about the positive thing that I took from it was I did drive home that night, and I was very self-deprecating, and I was very negative. And for the, week after that, I was debating whether this is my thing or not. Maybe I should do sketches online or something. I was even before I was doing any of that. But it was, thank God, we have the internet where you could just Google YouTube comedians talking about their bombing stories. Yeah. And I think there is an element of reassurance to know that that's just the process and you sometimes eat a dick.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, dude? I could either call this a lost or I could do the Gary V shit, and you know what? Just fucking learn from it and keep going.
Yeah.
And so I did. I said, I'm gonna fucking come back to this Magic City on my terms, not through any fucking competition, through the ranks. I'm gonna do it on my own terms, and I'm gonna really do this shit. And so a year later, I headlined Magic City Casino, and we sold it out.
Yeah.
So I was like, that for me was one of my biggest accomplishments.
That's amazing.
To be back at the same place I bombed. That basically would have stopped me, but I didn't. And so, I got online, and I built this persona. And so about a year later, we got to go back to Magic City, and yeah, we packed it out.
That's insane. That's really awesome.
It was crazy, man. It was crazy. And I hate to say it but it was like, fuck, man. Like, that was the one time I could pat myself, like, in the back
really
where
inspiring.
it's like, fuck, like, like, you did it. I did that. I could fucking say I did that.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. It's funny, while you were saying all of that, Jonah Ray, he's a comic as well, and he says, if you ever feel bad about something that you did, whether it's like a performance or... if you're a singer-songwriter and you think your album did horribly or whatever the case, Google your favorite album of all time and read the reviews.
Yeah.
Because there is always someone dogging what you think is a masterpiece.
Oh, 100%. 100%. In fact, I just saw, I don't know if you saw the new Kevin Hart thing on Netflix.
I did.
And I don't know what movie it was for exactly. But it was the same thing you're talking about. Mm-hmm. He thought it was going to be amazing. Oh, I think it was the school one.
Night School.
It did well, but the reviews for it, and he says it himself, he says, I've never get positive reviews. I mean, let's be honest, his movies aren't that great. But
yeah.
But the reviews, to fucking put something out and then have every review be so fucking negative. Yeah, dude, I mean, it's very hard for it not to affect you.
Yeah.
You kind of need to train your mind to dismiss that shit.
Yeah. Do you really think Sandler doesn't feel bad about the things that we say about him?
Sandler, fucking Spade. I mean, all the even Pryor. Like, that's another example of neither they idolize the guy, but that guy was getting shitted on day in, day out. Mm-hmm. Steve Martin with his mimicky shit with the fucking balloons and this and that. Like,
that was the first thing we talked about was Steve Martin.
You and I?
Yeah. That was
it really?
Yeah. I saw Born Standing Up right next to you.
Oh, that's right.
And I thought you were reading it. And you were like, no, I've read it before, though. And I was like, yeah, that book is awesome. You should... And I was like, you should get it on audiobook because he redoes
That's
his
right.
bits.
Well, I actually did pick the book out. Yeah, because it was at the Improv.
Yeah.
They had it there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this was right before I went on stage. That's right.
Exactly, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, great book.
Yeah, it's
Great
amazing,
book.
amazing book. But yeah, like he talks about... I mean, there's an amazing story, speaking of Steve Martin and Dane Cook, because we were talking about it because I was like, oh, Steve Martin was the first rock star comedian.
Right.
Like, he was the first person that, like, put the whole, like, we can play Madison Square Garden, like, on the map.
Right,
like
theater,
that kind of thing.
stadium shows.
Exactly,
and stuff.
that kind of thing, just doing comedy. And I don't remember if I told you this story, but Dane Cook has this amazing story about when he went out to a lunch with Steve Martin, and Steve Martin, he just said to him, I see you when you're up there, and you look really happy. Are you actually that happy? And Dane goes, yeah, I love it up there. And Steve Martin goes, yeah, I never had that.
I could relate with that.
Yeah.
I could. And it's something, I think you might have told me that story, because I remember saying that David Letterman was kind of like that too.
Yeah.
I relate and I don't, because I kind of entered stand up in a kind of in an escape route. I did it to kind of center myself. It really, your back's against the ropes when you're on stage.
Oh yeah.
For me, my mind was, I think it's called monkey mind or monkey brain, where I couldn't gather my thoughts. It was in an era where I was going through a depression. I was going through a lot. Nothing centered me. And so I forced myself to get on stage, to put my back against the ropes, and the only objective is to be funny. So I couldn't have a rattled mind. And I found pleasure on stage, but I feel like for a majority of it, a good portion of it, I would get on stage to escape. And not in a fucking, in a poetic way. I literally got on stage to get the fuck away from things.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I was cathartic or none of this shit. I wasn't talking about anything. I was talking about shitting and Taco Bell and all that. Mm-hmm. But now I feel, and in fact, when we met each other, that's kind of, it was a cleansing. What I was doing that night, and when we met, I was telling you, I was doing a few minutes at the Improv, or we were doing minutes at the Improv, and I didn't want to go into that space again. I didn't want to go into that place. If I got on stage, I wanted to do it how I wanted to do it. I wanted to talk about new things. I wanted to be. Basically, I went from Steve Martin to Dane Cook.
Yeah.
I wanted to now in this chapter, really have fun on stage. Not go up there with an objective, or I need to do this, or I need to say this, or I need to, clear my mind about this. No. Just go up there and fucking have fun. And really express yourself, in a way you want to. And now I think I'm getting to that place where I'm having fun.
Yeah.
That's
incredible, man.
Yeah.
And so when did you start doing the sketches?
Dude, I think it was right around, like, the first few months of doing stand-up that I realized, like, why does the joke have to end on stage?
Yeah.
Honestly, like, there wasn't Vine stars, and this was fucking 6-7 years ago, about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
There was people that were doing sketches and shit like that, but there wasn't like what you see now, like everybody's a fucking sketch artist.
Yeah.
And I remember specifically thinking, like, being at the Improv before the competition and seeing like 20 comics, and they were bragging about how long they've been doing stand-up. And I remember thinking, why brag? No one knows who the fuck you are.
Right.
And not to shit on them, but for me, that the objective of doing this, for me, is to leave some sort of legacy. For me, not everybody. Everybody, some people go up there and just do. But for me, I want to leave my print on it, And so, for me, if you're doing this for 20 years and no one's coming out to fucking see you, for me, it felt like maybe you're doing something wrong.
Maybe.
If that's your objective. For my objective is, I want to be known in this.
Yeah.
I want people to laugh at my shit. I want to be fucking known as a comic.
Yeah.
And so I thought, I can't be here 10 years from now bragging about doing stand-up for fucking 10 years.
Yeah.
And no one give a fuck. So I thought, the joke shouldn't just end on stage. I should maybe try this fucking Facebook, YouTube thing. Mm-hmm. And whatever I would develop on stage, I started taking to the screen, I guess, to the phone screen,
Yeah.
And so I started just, this scenario is funny, let me act it out. And I've always wanted to act. I've always been acting, So I think that helped, that my characters were believable, because I genuinely wanted to do that. And so what ended up happening was people started coming out of shows because they've seen me online. So, and people that look down on that, fuck you.
Well, there's a difference, man, because my whole thing is like there were these Vine stars, for
100%,
example,
100%,
who did the whole, I'm going to do a stand-up tour.
100%.
But, it's not called the I'm only going to be up there for 6 seconds tour.
100.
You know what I mean?
And 10 fucking %. I could give you 20 examples.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to be that.
Yeah.
And I think to a certain degree.
But you were a stand-up before you started, so that it
yeah, but
wouldn't
nobody
have happened.
fucking. It's not like I did an True Hollywood story about that.
I understand, but what I'm saying is it wouldn't have happened, like, because you were already a stand-up. So
well, that's why I think people that knew me in the stand-up, maybe they talk shit behind my back, but I felt like they always kind of accepted me because you saw me there before.
Right.
I did the fucking Doctor or the Weatherman or whatever got me popular.
Right.
You saw me eating a dick at a bar at 2 a.m. on stage to 10 people that no one gave a fuck, that you were there. So I think that, and I never stopped either. I wasn't arrogant about it.
Yeah.
Once I got popular, I didn't stop doing the little, a little bar show or whatever. No, I felt like that kept me grounded, And it's not that I became a huge thing, but what started happening was people were coming out to open mics or whatever because they heard I was going to be there and they wanted to see what I was doing online.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't want that. And then once people started calling me up as the Doctor or hey, you guys know him as whatever, and I would get on stage and we would talk like this. I would talk to people like this. I felt like their expectations weren't being met.
Yeah.
They're like, this isn't the fucking, hey, okay, so, baby, what's up?
That's tough, man. Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of fucked with me a little bit.
Yeah, it's like your own version of like, you know, have you heard the story of like, you know, the kid that played Chunk on Goonies?
Yes, well, now he's on like TikTok and shit. And no,
on Cameo, I think probably.
Maybe on Cameo. Yeah, no, I was thinking about the
TikTok.
3 monkeys, 3 ninjas, or whatever.
Oh, 3 Ninjas. Yeah, he's probably on TikTok.
He is. I've seen him. Yeah, but yeah, the other guy.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, you know, you're known for such an iconic thing, especially when the iconic thing is lifting up your shirt and jiggling your fat titties.
Right.
It's really difficult, man, because you're 40 years old and people are like, do the truffle shuffle, and you're like, hey, I'm with my kids, leave me alone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like people, you know, would say they'll see me somewhere and first of all, people really think I'm like hyper Cuban, like they think I'm like super fucking like, hey, this and that. So when they meet me and I'm like, what's up, dude? They're like, oh, like I feel like just like rappers, you know, you write your environment. You write about what you came up in. Yeah. And as comics, we're very observant, you know? And these are all things. I had a Cuban doctor growing up. I saw baseball dads react the way I did in that sketch. Yeah. You know, like these were things that I took in and interpreted on these sketches. It's not necessarily who I am. So when I would get on stage or I would meet people, I felt like they almost wanted that character to be real, you know? And it's not that I'm so far away from that, but I'm not really like that.
This is my personal opinion, but I just don't think that's fun. I think it's more fun that you're your own person.
Well, then that's when I started doing the lives. And I think now, and this is something I've told my team about, like, I think now the best reactions I get now is when people come up to me and say, hey, you're Mario Ramil.
Right.
Because what I used to get was, hey, you're the doctor.
Right.
Hey, you're the weatherman. Hey, you're the voiceover, whatever. Hey, you're the... Now I get... By the way, War fucking...
Z.
the fucking 1920s Amelia Earhart fucking plane flying over.
Yeah, we got abducted twice during this podcast.
Why would we do this next Area 51?
There's no aliens, by the way. We haven't seen anything.
Not at all. But yeah, dude. So now, you know, I think the best thing for me, the most exciting thing for me is when people come up to me and say, "Hey, you're Mario. Hey, aren't you Mario Ramil or whatever?" As opposed to one of these fucking characters I've done.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I think I did it because I started showing people. And that's the thing. And if there's one thing that if anybody watching or listening, I guess, would take from this, if you want it, is, you know, don't let them put a finger on who you are as a artist. You know, the moment I did the doctor thing and people started saying we want more doctor, that's when I crumbled up whatever I was going to write about doctor and threw it away, and I was never the doctor again. For me, it's poetry. For me, it's you write a hit song, you keep trying to find the hit. You keep trying to write another poem. You don't go back and write the sequel. I mean, you could, and eventually I will, maybe. But that was a mood. That was a moment. That was something I needed to get out of me. And I fucking did. And I lost followers and I lost fans, quote unquote, because I didn't give them what they signed up for originally. What I wanted to show them was, I'm not that fucking character. I'm an actor acting like these things, and I'm going to give you a lot more. And so then eventually I became a comedian and not just a comic that did this role.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's really important. It's funny how you're saying that, because that's such an actor way of looking at it. Because, like, you know, I do like little acting gigs here and there and things like that. And it is so easy to get put, because people just do this. It's just the way that people are. Like, besides Hollywood, whatever, like, that's just like people try to find any little way to categorize you and put you in a box. Like, that's just
100%.
what it is. No matter what the box is, it's like, if I were to look at you, I'd be like, okay, he's my friend, but he's also my friend that has a beard.
Yeah.
So, like, now he's in the box of friends with beards.
Right, right.
Or whatever, like that kind of a thing. Everybody has some dumb little box that they want to put you in. And as an actor or as an artist, you just don't want to do that because that isn't fun. Like, that isn't, you always want to keep people guessing. And that's what keeps you relevant.
Oh, 100%.
As well. That's 100% what keeps you relevant.
Because you could get the initial influx of fans or followers when you do something like fucking Steve Urkel.
Mm-hmm.
And I use that example because I remember my mom, growing up, I remember she would say, lo encasillaron en ese papel, which means, they basically typecasted him to the dorky, and even when he was Stefan and all that shit, it was great, but yeah, put on the glasses and hike your pants up, you're fucking Steve Urkel.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's certain people that have never been able to get out of, like Pauly Shore now at fucking 50s, trying to kind of, but he's always going to be the fucking 90s Pauly Shore for the majority of us.
Dude, I was telling a friend of mine this, where I was like, I think the thing that's the saddest thing about Pauly Shore is that he was talking about how he can't even do extra work because his face is too recognizable.
He's Pauly Shore, yeah.
His face is too recognizable.
Well, now I don't know if you could use that excuse because dude, he's aged.
Yeah,
he's aged, not so gracefully.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just know his mom, and his mom was cool.
No, he was. Look, and that's what sucks because he is funny.
Yeah,
and he's a good comic,
of course.
And he was a great actor. But yes, he himself put himself in that box. It wasn't that people. I mean, to a certain extent, I'm sure they saw him as that stoner, hippie, whatever.
Yeah, the weasel.
We all did. But I feel like it's your responsibility to also try your fucking hardest to get out of that.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's what, for example, going back to Sandler, I think that's what Sandler's doing so well right now.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't know if you've seen Uncut Gems yet.
I have not seen Uncut Gems, but I see it fucking everywhere. Advertised everywhere.
I'm telling you, man, it's going to be the thing that...
Is that on a streaming
changes
thing,
that guy's life. No, I saw it at the theater.
Oh, it's out.
Yeah, it's in limited
gotcha.
theaters and things. It'll probably be in streaming pretty soon because it's like around Oscar season.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee you he's going to get nominated.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can almost guarantee you.
But see, I think at this point, it's a little. I mean, it's never too late.
Of course,
but that's something he should have been doing earlier on too.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Because for fucking the past 25 years, he writes these movies. It's not like or he's not auditioning for these roles.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So he himself, and that's fine if you want to be that quirky guy.
Yeah,
but me personally, I want to explore what I'm very curious at, and that's the psyche of people. That's observing someone and mimicking that, playing a role that's not close to something you are, showcasing that, I love that, and I love comedy. So in my own way, I do both of those things simultaneously under one thing, you know. But I never want to have someone put their finger on me and be like, oh, that's what this guy does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I totally understand that. And I can agree with that, even for me. What would you say are your goals? Because I know, for example, you would want to do a movie at some point.
Yeah.
What are some goals? Like, do you want to do a sitcom at one point? What kind of stuff?
I would love to take what I do on a mini tour. Mm-hmm. That's one of my goals. Really be who I am on stage in this tour and give people exactly all the facets, all the characters, be who I really am on this tour to my real fans that I've developed.
We talked about this actually when we met. Where I talked to you.
We talked a lot, I guess.
We did. We talked about this where I told you about Donald Glover and how when I saw him in Atlanta, he did this show where he opened for himself 3 times.
That's amazing.
And he did stand up, and then there was a sketch in the middle, and then he did music afterwards.
See, that is beautiful. That is something, because I love music as well, and so
you've done that whole Bad Bunny thing, and
I did the Bad Bunny thing for a while. I was a Lil Uzi flirt. I was rapping. Then I've made serious music too, which nobody really gives a fuck about. But that's all that I would love to showcase live.
Yeah.
Now on screen, I would love to write. I would love to write some a movie. I would love to write and star in a movie. It doesn't have to be a fucking Hollywood thing. I just want the accomplishment of putting something together like that.
Any specific? I don't want to say genre because obviously comedy, but
maybe not.
Maybe not.
In fact, I just had a meeting not so long ago right here, where we're at now, about. I don't know if I could. There's a popular serious mom movie and potentially making a sequel for it.
Yeah.
Where this guy's son is now head of the empire.
Yeah. And now's a good time, man. People love people's kids doing shit, so.
Yes. And that would be and that wouldn't be a comedy.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of that because again, I don't want to be put into that one thing. I love fucking movies. I love movies and I love characters.
Yeah.
So if I could tap into those two worlds, that is my goal.
Yeah, I think that's really awesome, man. Where can people find you online?
You could find. Well, I just got on TikTok, regrettably so. I just got on TikTok. I know I feel silly saying it, but
yeah.
By the way, I scroll through TikTok for fucking hours and I hate it. And I see people doing these stupid dances. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But me shitting on the toilet bowl, watching hours of these people doing it, saying, why are you doing that? So I don't know what's going on there. But I'm on TikTok at Mario Ramil Comedy. That's Ramil, Ramil. And basically, you just put in Mario Ramil on social media, and I have different renditions of it, Mario Ramil Comedy, Mario_Ramil. But if you put Mario Ramil, I should pop up on social media.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely give him a follow, watch his sketches. And do you have the Mario Ramil podcast? Is that coming back?
I had it for a while. I started with Inside the Sewing Room.
Yeah.
Developed that for a while, went away, started the Ramil podcast. Towards the ending of last year, I kind of stopped, and so this year, we're picking it back up.
Awesome, man. So definitely,
you got to be on it, bro.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to.
For sure, dude.
So definitely subscribe and watch that podcast when that comes out as well. For me, you can find me on Instagram at Mike Valdes, on Twitter at I am Mike Valdes. You can go to whoismikevaldes.com to find out the answer to that question. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Tell all of your friends and family to subscribe and listen. This has been Childlike at Best with Mike Valdes. Have a great week. Bye, besties.